Hi guys, I'm here today to do my January wrap up for you. I'm still playing catch up. I'm really sorry about that. I won't bore you with the usual excuses. It's just, school is super stressful and time consuming right now. It's probably, no, it definitely is the busiest and kind of most challenging semester I've had yet, but I'm getting through it and it's going pretty well so far. And it's actually, I'm on my spring break right now. That's why I've been able to film and edit and upload videos. And so that means we're halfway through, or maybe even a little over halfway through, and I'll be done at the very beginning of May, I believe, with my exams. And then I'll be off for the summer, and I'm not sure exactly what my summer plans are yet, but I will, of course, have a lot more time than I do right now to make videos for you all. So I just want to say thank you so much for sticking with me. I truly, truly appreciate it. I know that my uploading schedule has been basically non-existent for quite a while, and I do apologize for that, but that's just the way it has to be for right now, I'm afraid. So I truly appreciate you guys for sticking with me. Hopefully I can make it up to you this summer with a lot more regular upload schedule, and also some kind of different kind of videos. I'm not promising that they'll be super creative because I'm not that creative, but something more than just wrap-ups and hauls and things like that. I have a few ideas in mind of things that I want to film, so hopefully I'll have time to do those this summer and get them up for you, and hopefully y'all will enjoy those. But anyway, enough of my ramble. Without further ado, let's get into the books that I read in January. And the first one that I have on the pile is The Happy Prince and Other Stories by Oscar Wilde. And I only laugh at this because it took me so long to actually finish it. This was seriously, I think, one of the very first books that I ever featured on this channel. On my first, currently reading video, I think it was, one of the very first. It might have even been the second video I ever did. The point is, it's been a very long time that I've had this on my, currently reading shelf on Goodreads. And because it took me so long, you might be thinking, oh, she must have really not enjoyed that book. That's not the case. I actually gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was just, I don't know what it was. I just could not read it consistently. I would just pick it up and read a story and be like, oh, that was nice, and then put it down for months on end and then pick it up again. It was just one of those books that I couldn't really read straight through. I would just dip in and out of now and again. And as with most, short story collections, these are a collection of fairy tales. And as with most collections like that, there were some that I definitely enjoyed more than others. I would say some of my favorites, let me see. I think my favorite one was probably The Nightingale and the Rose, which is actually Marcus Zusak's favorite, who does the introduction for this book, so that was interesting because he's one of my favorite authors, and his favorite story ended up being my favorite story. I also really enjoyed the last one, The Fisherman and His Soul. That one was really good. And so those two were probably my most favorites out of the collection. But yeah, I enjoyed this, and I'd say pick it up if you like fairy tales or Oscar Wilde. Next thing I have on the pile is The Thorn and the Blossom by Theodora Goss. This is a two-sided love story, and that's kind of a pun because you do get both sides of the story, the man and the woman in the relationship, but it's also a two-sided book. Like, this is Brendan's story, and this is Evelyn's side of the story, and it's an accordion fold format, so you can open it up and read it from both sides, which is kind of difficult to do because obviously it doesn't have a spine. But yeah, so it's a little difficult to read, but not too bad once you get a technique down. And this is just what it says, it's a love story told from both perspectives of each person in the couple, and it has like a mythological element to it that I won't give away or anything. So it's interesting. It's not spectacular or anything like that. I mean, it couldn't really be. It's only about 80 pages long, factoring in both sides of the story. So, there's not a lot of space for it to be anything incredible, although you can do something incredible within that small amount of space, I suppose. But this was just okay. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Maybe more like 2.5 even. I don't know. It didn't wow me or anything. I enjoyed it while I was reading it, but it won't stick with me or anything like that. But Theodora Goss is definitely an author I want to look into more, get my hands on some more of her work, because she, the other things that she's written also sound very interesting to me. I think she has a short story collection and a poetry collection, both of which I want to give a go. So this one was just okay. I think if it sounds interesting to you, I would say go ahead and read it and see for yourself what you think of it. It definitely won't take you a lot of time at all. But yeah, it was just alright, nothing too special. And the next thing I have to show you is a classic that I am so glad that I have finally read. This was the first novel that we read for my Victorian literature class, and that is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I'm so pleased to finally have read this and to mark it off my list and to know the story. I don't know how this is possible, but I didn't really know the full story of Jane Eyre before going into this. I don't know how I hadn't been spoiled for it on BookTube, let alone just out in the world, but I didn't really know. I knew bits and pieces of the story, but not like the full thing, so it was still kind of a fresh experience for me, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, I believe. It was super fun, super engaging, a really immersive reading experience, and I loved Jane. I thought she was great. As you could expect, my class was kind of split on how they felt about this, particularly the ending of the book. There were people who hated it and thought it was just awful, and there were people who loved it and people who were kind of in the middle and weren't really sure. I would probably count myself in maybe the middle ground of that area, although I would put myself more on the end of liking the ending. I was overall pleased with how things wrapped up and with the choices that the characters made. So like I said, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm so glad I've read it now and I know the full story, and I'm super excited to read more of the Brontes' work in the future. Because not only have I never read Jane Eyre before this, I've also never read any of the other Brontes' work. So I'm super excited to read more of Charlotte's work as well as get into some of her sister's work. I can't really decide what I want to read next from them. I'm kind of thinking The Tenant of Wildfell Hall I think that one's by Anne Bronte, just because that one sounds really interesting to me, and also, I'm not gonna lie, I just love the Penguin English Library cover a lot. That's probably a bad reason to choose that book, but anyway. So if you have any recommendations for where to go after reading Jane Eyre with the Brontes' work, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it. Next thing I have is The Adventures of Miss Petitfour by Anne Michaels with illustrations by Emma Block. This is one of the most gorgeous books I own and that I've ever seen. It's beautiful inside and out. Look at the end papers. It's adorable. That's what it looks like, the naked hardcover. And as I said, there are illustrations throughout that are just as gorgeous. This is actually a collection of like short stories, little vignettes, all about Miss Petitfour and her 16 cats, I believe. Yes, 16 cats. It also has a pale pink ribbon marker. It's just absolutely adorable. Every single aspect of it is adorable. Excuse you. I guess she heard me talking about cats, and now my cat has decided to join the video. You're shaking my whole setup here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why you gotta do that? Why you gotta do that? Did you want to be on camera? I really doubt that. Oh, you're gonna be, though. Yep, she's disrupted me. This is Little Bit. Say hello. Say hi to everybody. Yeah, she hates being held, so yeah, she's gonna want to leave. Sorry for that rude interruption. But anyway, this is just a cute little middle grade story all about Miss Petitfour and her 16 cats and the mischief that they get into on a daily basis. There's 4 or 5 stories in here. Yeah, 5 stories in here. And at the beginning there's a little introduction of Miss Petitfour, and then an introduction for all of her cats, and it tells you all their names and a little bit about them, and has a little illustration of each of them. And then it goes in, here's another illustration of Miss Petitfour. It's an illustration of the local librarian in the town where Miss Petitfour lives. There's the cats getting up to something. There's another one. So it's just an adorable little book. And like I said, they're just like little vignettes of the adventures they get into around their town. And it kind of reminded me of Oddfellows Orphanage in the tone of just how it's just quaint little stories, and also in the format in that Oddfellows Orphanage kind of reads like a series of vignettes as well. And I would definitely recommend it. I enjoyed it so much. We had a couple of like really good snow days back in January. We got like 6 or 7 inches. It was amazing. And so I read this over that weekend in a couple of sittings, just curled up on the couch with a blanket with the snow falling softly outside, and it was the perfect atmosphere for reading a cute little book like this. I'm going to quickly read you the inside flap because it gives you a really good just overall feel of what the book is about. It says, Miss Petitfour is an expert at baking and eating little cakes. She also has the most marvelous everyday adventures. Her favorite mode of travel is by tablecloth, and on windy days she always takes her 16 cats out for an airing. Join Miss Petitfour and her feline companions as they embark on 5 magical outings, including a quest for birthday cheddar and a visit to the village's annual festooning festival. And if you prefer books in which nothing ever happens, books in which people and cats sit by the fire with buttery shortbread biscuits and steaming mugs of cocoa, books full of interesting facts that will never come in useful, and books with digressions and meanwhiles and long words and lists, then you will find plenty of that here too. So it's just a really cute, charming, quirky little read, and I would definitely recommend it if it sounds like something you would like. Then the last 2 things I have to show you are picture books, and the first one is This is Sadie by Sarah O'Leary and with illustrations by Julie Morstadt, who has a gorgeous art style, as you can tell. It's the spine and that's the back, and the end papers are beautiful as well. And then this is what it looks like underneath the dust jacket. Sadie has now taken off her mask, as you can tell. And I'll show you some of the inside illustrations. This is one of my favorite ones. So yeah, it's just an adorable little book about a girl named Sadie who has all kinds of adventures in her bedroom. She's a very imaginative child. She doesn't really need much to have fun and to have adventures. And yeah, it's just a really cute little read. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Let me just read you the synopsis really quick. Sadie is a small girl with a big imagination. She likes to make and do and be lots of different things. Maybe you're a bit like her. You like to make things out of other things. You sometimes live inside a book. You may be small, but your imagination is big. This is Sadie, and this is her story. Come inside. So it's just a really adorable read about a little girl and all the fun adventures she gets up to in her imagination. So I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of picture books. And then the last thing that I have is another picture book, and this is Black Dog by Levi Penfold. And I read this with my friend Katie. We've started a thing this year where we read one book together each month, and so at the end of the year we'll have a book for each month that we read together and have discussed. So we're super excited about that. It's been a lot of fun so far, and this was, well, one of our January picks. I say one book a month, but we've always done 2 so far because we just can't narrow our choices down because there's just too many great books out there that we want to read. We kind of decided on doing this towards the end of January, so we needed to pick some quicker books. So one of them that we chose was this beautiful picture book, and as you can tell, the art is absolutely gorgeous. Yet again, some pictures of the characters on the back there, and then the end pages are just the same illustration as the front cover. And then this is the naked hardback, and let me show you some of the inside art. This art is just, it's absolutely amazing. Here's a picture of the promised black dog of the title. I'm going to read you the inside flap of this too. It says, a black dog comes to visit the Hope family, and it's big. As big as a tiger. No, an elephant. Wait, the dog is as big as a T-Rex. The terrified Hopes try to hide, but there's no stopping the littlest family member, Small Hope, from marching right outside to confront the beast. This is a story about being afraid. It's also a story about not being afraid. It all depends on how you see things. So this is just a really cute, gorgeously illustrated story about a little girl and how she faces her fear and shows how to be brave in the face of fear. I think I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars because while the story was cute and charming and has a good lesson and everything like that, I didn't think it was anything too extraordinary, but the art was absolutely extraordinary. So I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, probably more like 3.5. But yeah, I really enjoyed this and I definitely recommend it. Alright everyone, that is everything that I read in January. Let me know down below if any of these books sound interesting to you and if you want to pick them up, or if you've read any of them, what you thought of them. Yeah, leave all of that information in the comments. I love talking to you guys there, and thank you guys so much again for sticking with me as I've been away. I really truly appreciate it, and I will hopefully have some more videos for you up soon. So until then, thanks for watching.